Hey guys, it's Randy here. I'm really excited to do this video today. We just saw Toy Story 4 over the weekend, and before that we kind of had to sit down and really finish the entire thing, which was great because I didn't finish the entire first three movies. I got through 1 and 2. And I've seen bits of 3, and my fiance had never seen any of them. So that was really fun. We found all 3 Blu-rays and Blu-ray DVD sets at Target on sale, and I gotta show you guys one day. But we found a Toy Story Alien Romper that my fiance thought would be hilarious to watch throughout all the Toy Story movies. Thankfully, not at the theater. But yeah, I really want to do this Toy Story 4 review with you guys because it really was a very cute movie. It was very sweet, and it took a turn I kind of didn't expect. And I just want to kind of get into that with you guys. I warn you now, there will be spoilers. If you do not want that, you need to click away now. But if you've seen the movie, you need somebody to discuss this with. You just kind of want to get something off your chest about it. Or you want to hear somebody else's thought process as to why they feel the way they do about the movie. And maybe there's something that's not sitting well with you or whatever, and you need some perspective from somebody else who's seen it, feel free to just watch and give your input. So I'm going to start with saying we did go to an AMC movie theater, and if you didn't go to AMC, I strongly suggest that you do, because this is one of the things that I actually purchased while I was there. It was a collectible tin, which is really nice because it's an AMC little popcorn tin, and thankfully it's not plastic, which is a lot of times you go to the movie theaters, even use plastic refillable bucket. This was perfect. I can keep this. It's not gonna get really ruined. And I was there throughout the movie, just like the entire time. I think I went through 3 buckets of popcorn. So if you have not gotten that yet, I strongly advise it. It's a nice little collector's item. It's not cheap. I mean, it's like $10, but like it's not cheap plastic material that you may get. Like I got the Dumbo one from another theater, and it's just this plastic bucket. You know, it's, if my kids get a hold of it, it's gonna fade and get tossed at some point. Hopefully not, but it's probably gonna get tossed out if it starts to fade, because the plastic imagery on it is usually not the highest quality, if you know what I mean. But I'm going to get into that movie now, and the first thing I want to say is the beginning was sad. Like, I felt bad. I felt bad for Woody. Like, in the beginning, it seemed like there was something climactic going on, and something almost more than just being played with. And, you know, when Bonnie didn't choose him again, that was really kind of sad, and it was a little surprising too, given the fact that at the end of the 3rd movie, she seemed very attached to all of them, and I'm not sure if it was just because it was in the presence of Andy and the eagerness for a child to please adults, that maybe she was more interactive with Woody, or by the time the 4th movie came out, she just kind of outgrew the cowboy thing. But I don't necessarily think that's quite the case, since she gravitates pretty strongly towards Jesse. And that was kind of sad, and it, you know, made me feel like, oh wow, you know, I can get where he's coming from, that feeling of being essentially replaced, or even a little bit jealous. I can tell he's happy for his friends, but that was kind of an adult situation, I think, you know, like having to learn to be happy for others as you take a sit back. And that's no fun. I found that was a little sad, you know, it was a little bit sad. Not like bawl your eyes out sad, but it was a thing that, you know, clearly Woody wasn't used to. Or, after being in Andy's toy box for so long, he was used to and wasn't ready to keep living his life like that. So there was that. I think that when we finally get Woody out of his environment, you know, of Bonnie's house, and he sees Forky, which I found to be the most ridiculous aspect of Toy Story 4. That must have been kind of sad. Like, oh wow, like it's heartwarming, and I mean, Woody's very happy for her, but to be replaced by a fork, oh god, it's a little. Like it almost seemed like he was making himself be happy, as long as the child was happy, best interest of the child before yourself, kind of thing. But I mean, the whole Forky trying to throw himself into trash and feeling like you're replaced by this thing wants to throw itself in the dumpster at any given time. That must have been a little hard. I feel like certain characters didn't leave as much of an impression on me as I had hoped. Bunny and Ducky. I found, they had a couple comical scenes, but I was really kind of hoping that they would be more, interesting. Like that they would have more character to them, and that maybe I would get a little bit more attached. I mean, they were really the comic relief, though. I mean, along with Buzz using his conscience, or his buttons, or essentially his Jiminy Cricket of the film. That was interesting. I'm not gonna lie, but the comic relief aspect of it was really good. But I mean, I feel like it's all Ducky and Bunny really was the comic relief. I mean, they had a strong want to have an owner, which didn't get fulfilled, which I don't feel like it's probably ever going to get fulfilled for them. They're probably going to live out the same kind of life as Woody. But I don't necessarily feel as though that's a bad thing, given how, I don't know, what's the word for these characters? Given how kind of unintelligent they are. I mean, it doesn't seem like they really have any clue as to what to expect with living with a human child. I mean, sure, they know how to freeze on the wall, but these are very loudmouth kind of characters, and you can see in their plotting that one of their plots as a distraction while in the antique shop was to, what was it called, the plush rush an old lady. I don't know if living with people would have been the best for them, even if they were made by people. So that's just me. I wanted to give that little bit input. And the other thing I found really interesting was the fact that we finally caught up with Bo Peep. I'm super happy about them getting back to Bo Peep's storyline. It was a little surprising that she even came back, just because in the whole third film, there was nary a whisper of her. There was maybe a very small reference about Bo Peep being taken away with somebody else. And in the beginning, we see this really strong character of Bo Peep helping Woody as he's out the window, I believe it was with the monkeys, and she's a very strong, adventurous character. She's not this little princess character that we all kind of think she is. She has a strong will. And obviously, now in this film, we see her coming back with that same strong will. And that's really exciting for me, because I really gravitated to her mostly aesthetically initially, but I'm glad that they brought her back and she had more sustenance than just aesthetic. Sustenance. Substance. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really stoked about that, because she was a very strong character. Seeing her arm break off and just tape it back on, didn't search out for crazy glue, didn't search for the super glue, didn't really spaz out that bad. No, she's a very strong character, and that was cool. I really liked Officer Giggles too. Officer Giggles was cute. I liked that she had a relationship with He-Man. Apparently, I wish they kind of went more into that, but that was cute. I mean, oh god, how would that even work? That would have been weird. But I'm not even gonna think about that one. It's super weird. But that was just silly and fun. She's super cute. I love the fact that she's just there. She's almost like PT Flea. She reminds me of PT Flea from A Bug's Life, and just how he's just so small and feisty, which was cute. Um, I really would like to just say that, that was a really fun character to me. I wish she was actually in more of the film. I feel like she wasn't in quite as much as she could have been. And I feel like if you're going to go with Ducky and Bunny for comic relief, I think Officer Giggles would have been a great addition to that. I would have loved to see them either like collaborate and work together. That would have been fun. I also really feel as though on that topic, when they kind of talk about Gabby, I mean, there definitely seems to be like this understanding that Gabby is desperate. In fact, it's kind of funny to me. She's definitely a villain in the first scene that you see her. In that first couple scenes that you see her, she definitely screams villain and psychotic, even murderous. But it's funny because I don't think that happened to her overnight. She didn't want anything from Woody other than his voice box. She had no intention on killing anyone or really hurting anybody. Woody probably struck her as a lost toy, and she got sick and tired of waiting on an antique shelf. I mean, this toy who's now here searching and seeking out another toy. Sure, yes, he wanted to get back to Bonnie. But, I mean, I'm not sure if he really made it obvious that his gifts were being used and that maybe they could be better used for a greater good somewhere else. Gabby to me was a very creepy toy. Like, I don't know, there's just something about her, she's creepy. Maybe it's her little ventriloquist, were they ventriloquists or these puppet henchmen? I forget their names. If you know them, comment down below. But I feel like this whole almost, she had that kind of mafia, Cruella de Vil kind of almost vibes going on, and I don't feel as though that derived out of nothing. That whole thing with Harmony, clearly she seemed as though she had watched this child from a distance for a very long time and really wanted to be played with. And that was really kind of a kick to the stomach to see her just kind of get tossed out after the effort that she went through, and even after Woody's generosity to help her. Although I'm very happy with the closure that she gets. She gets this wonderful little girl as an owner, who finds her and truly appreciates the presence that she brought in her life in this child's time of need and time of fear, and was essentially able to be her own hero, and I thought that was really interesting. It was a nice touch on kind of like a character who is not necessarily good, but redeemable, and which I'm very interested in characters who have the possibility to be redeemed. Like I've mentioned, I think 2 friends, or not in a video, but 2 friends. That's how I kind of feel about like Kylo Ren in Star Wars. I feel as though there's, with him for example, and I'm deviating a little bit, he has that potential to have redemption because he has internal conflict. He is a bad person, but he might be redeemable. And that's the same way I feel about Gabby. She is a creepy as heck little kid, but she's no less of a toy than Woody, Jesse, Buzz, or anybody else. And she still deserved that love and ownership, being sentient, in my opinion. And that's what she wanted. And I'm so very happy that she finally got it. and that, but I do feel as though for a character like Gabby, when the child does grow up, I feel as though that might make it all the more difficult after the years she spent on an antique store shelf. I do feel as though that could be an interesting offshoot, and I know I'm kind of going into her character a lot, but the villain kind of interests me. And I think those are some of my thoughts. I feel like Buzz was really fun. I do like the fact that, I know my friend Disney Junkie Ashley mentioned, they actually utilize what he has, being a more advanced toy than Woody. They finally did something with those buttons. And even though they were saying the same things they always had, they had new meaning to him. And that was really fun. The one thing I am disappointed about is the fact that they did not touch on Buzz and Jesse's relationship really anymore. And I highly doubt that that went away. I don't think that that went away because I feel as though that was pretty prominent in the other movies. But it really wasn't touched on, and I feel like that's a little sad because there's no real, complete closure to that. I mean, you get the feeling that, yeah, the flirtation's probably just going on behind the scenes. But with Woody and Bo, there's that closure that Woody is able to find what he needs, and it's not Bonnie. It's no longer Andy. It's Bo. It's Bo Peep, and it's not necessarily just the romance aspect of Bo. It's her whole lifestyle and being able to find value outside of ownership, outside of living with somebody else. And I find that to be really great, and I feel as though in the aspect of this movie, in the message Woody's always giving, it's eye-opening for him, and it's a valuable lesson for him to learn that he has more value than that of in some child's room and sitting there and collecting dust for years and years. And we don't really even know how long a toy has a lifespan for if it just ends at the dump one day. For all we know, they could be immortal. And why should any toy have to sit and never be played with again? Or never be held or cuddled or anything ever again, when there are always going to be children as long as the human race exists. There's always going to be children who will pick up and play with that toy. And Bo shows in that. That's something that I thought was cute and sweet and in its own way kind of romantic. And they become this adventurous couple, and they have this Tarzan and Jane kind of aspect. This, which is funny because they're Woody and Bo. Bo being initially so kind of with her little frills and her skirt and her bonnet. You would never think that, but I guess in a way Jane was kind of the same way until she met Tarzan. That whole world of adventure just opens up. But Bo does it for him. She kind of opens a new door, and I was excited about that. So, yeah, that's just all my thoughts, my collective thoughts. I feel as though if they really wanted to, they could make another movie. They could. They could show what happens to Gabby. They could show us what happens with Jesse and Buzz. They could do like an in-between movie that lets us know what's going on with Bo before she meets Giggles. I feel like there's a lot of potential in there, and I don't know if they'll ever actually do it. They could even make a TV show and fill in the blanks. But overall, I feel as though we got a lot of answers to what had happened and to the potential of what could happen and will happen in the future to these characters. And I'm happy with this. I'm happy that we've got some closure, and I'm happy that, certain characters are finding what they need. Gabby has a new owner. Woody is finally going about his life without being dependent on an owner. Jesse is finally, after years of being in storage, now the center focus of a new child's life and getting probably that love and closure that she kind of deserved for a long time, being the star of one child's life, and has kind of a second chance at that. And I'm really happy about that. And there's some definitely interesting things that they did with this movie. And Forky was neither here nor there for me. I would have been happy with or without him. And I feel like the whole butter knife at the end thing, that was a little weird, but whatever. I mean, he was cute. He was interesting. He was unique. But I could have. I was either here nor there about Forky. But I just wanted to get in touch with you guys and give you my honest review. And that's it. Have a great day, guys. Love you. And give me your comments down below. Give me your review. Bye.